What's up, everyone? It's Holden Craft, the man, the myth, the legend. And by hello, everyone, I mean hello, Mr. Vokes. I hope you're having a good day, or good night, depending on when you're watching this. Regardless, I hope you're doing good. Today, I'm gonna explain the rock cycle. And, yeah, that's about it. So, just before I explain anything here, let's just, that's embarrassing. You can see my shadow of me holding my phone up, but as you can see, this is kind of the rock cycle in general. It's a pretty simplified version of it, but, yeah, as you can see, I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I didn't make this myself. I think you wrote it on the board and I just copied it down, but, you know, I did a pretty good job copying it, I think. So yeah, anyways, let's just start by going over the three rock types and how they form. And for the demonstration, I'm going to be using this ball of multicolored magnets because it was kind of the only thing I had. So starting with sedimentary rocks. So sedimentary rocks, in general, they form when stuff called sediments, which are like, you know, sand, clay, pebbles, like just basically any like tiny bits of debris that are like naturally occurring, when they are like, they're kind of carried away by, you know, wind or water or whatever. They're just kind of like carried away to a certain place, or to like they're kind of they're like all like the sediment is carried away, which is called deep deposition, and then all those sediments get compacted together, which means like basically they're just like they get like, you know, they get put together and stuck together, and then the final step is cementation, where basically they like the sediments, they really bond together and they create a rock. So, and that whole like process is called lithification, I think. So that's how I forgot to even show anything. So just just imagine that, let me just take apart some pieces here. Okay. Just imagine this is as small as the other ones. So imagine that these are like the sediments, right? Or the sediment. And basically, when they eventually get carried away by something like this, or I mean, they shouldn't be stuck together right now, but like just imagine they're all getting like moved around to a certain place, and then when they're in that area, they kind of get compacted together, and they're kind of like clumped together, and then eventually it'll get like really stuck together, and which is cementation, and it'll become a rock, and this is the sedimentary rock. Yeah, so overall, that's kind of how sedimentary rocks form. Just overall, they just think like, you know, tiny pieces of sand, like stuff like that, gets clumped together and hardened, and it becomes a rock. Okay, so now for metamorphic rock. So metamorphic rock is basically when other rocks that aren't metamorphic rocks, so like, for example, a sedimentary rock. So this is a sedimentary rock. Basically, how metamorphic rock forms is this sedimentary rock gets exposed to very high temperatures and very high pressure. Whether that's, and most of the time it happens underneath the surface of the earth. That's how, and that's because it takes a very high heat to actually transform it, and usually that temperature is only really found underneath the earth. So I'm pretty sure they can only form underneath the earth. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure metamorphic rocks can't form on the surface. But I don't want to say anything, you know. So yeah, so I don't really know how to show that, but just imagine that this is a sedimentary rock. It's underneath the earth, and just imagine my hand is like it getting heated up and pressurized. And then after a long time, it turns into a completely different rock, which is a metamorphic rock. Basically, it metamorphosizes, which basically just means that it like changes into a new thing. And yeah, that's how metamorphic rocks form. It's pretty simple. But yeah. And then igneous rocks. Now, igneous rocks are kind of similar to metamorphic rocks in the sense that they can be formed from other types of rocks. Basically, igneous rocks form when other types of rocks are melted down by heat. And again, I don't really know how to show that, but they're melted. So imagine this is a metamorphic rock. It gets melted into magma. Just imagine this is like liquid. It gets turned into magma, and then that magma then cools either in the surface of the earth or like outside like on the surface. So like either in the earth, like under the crust, or like on the surface of the earth. Which depends on is whether or not it makes it intrusive or extrusive. Excuse me, sorry. If it's extrusive, it gets cooled on the outside, it gets cooled on the surface, and if it's intrusive, it cools on the inside. Or they might be switched around, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So yeah, basically that's how igneous rocks form. Now, there's also a way that all three of the rock types can basically form from themselves. So basically, all three rock types can form from their own self. So, for example, like an igneous rock can get melted and then cooled, and it's still an igneous rock. So, like, an igneous rock can go to igneous rock by, it gets melted down, and then it cools, and it's still an igneous rock. Same thing with a metamorphic rock. If a metamorphic rock gets, it is exposed to really high heat and pressure, then it'll turn into a different metamorphic rock, or it'll just stay a metamorphic rock. And then sedimentary rock too, like a sedimentary rock will be exposed to weathering, erosion, and deposition, and then it'll get compacted and cemented, and it will turn into another sedimentary rock. So that's kind of a thing. Like each type of rock can turn into itself, basically. And yeah, so that's kind of the rock cycle. Just in general, I don't really know. I probably missed some things, but in general, that's what the rock cycle is. Just the main key things are, igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. Those are the three types of rocks. Igneous forms from when rocks melt into magma, and that magma gets cooled into an igneous rock. Metamorphic rock is when other rocks get exposed to heat and pressure, and that's what turns them into metamorphic rocks. And then sedimentary rocks, they form when sediment is compacted and cemented over time, and it turns into a rock. So yeah, that's kind of it. Again, I probably missed some stuff, but that's all I have. So special thanks to this clump of magnets. It was kind of hard to show, but I think I did what I could with it. Also, special thanks to Milo the cat here. He really helped me out on this project for providing me with, he was just kind of here for the road. He gave me some ideas. He actually gave me the idea to use the clump of magnets to show the rock transformations or how they form. So yeah, big thanks to Milo the cat. He's also just helped because he was with me the whole time when I was talking and doing the presentation. So, yeah, thanks to this guy. I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. So, yeah. Goodbye.